Yeah. No, I love playing games with background music. So even though it can be a real pain in the ass to try to make it work online, and like in cases like this where we're streaming, there's other considerations also with copyright and stuff. But in those cases, I'll generally play something in the background anyway, just because I don't know, it puts me in the mood.
Well, typically on a lot of these, we get a lot of just hang time where someone's deciding what they're doing and the other people don't want to talk about anything. Or the me annoyance factor where I'm trying to fill dead air by talking and people are just getting annoyed at me because I'm talking about nothing because I'm trying to fill dead air.
I don't like to be too bossy. Like, I know that I have a very extroverted personality and that I can often intrude on other people's screen time or mandates. So I aggressively, I turn that aggression inwards, in the words of Master Splinter, because anger turned inwards is a very powerful force.
See, I thought you were going to go with the Richard Nixon.
The what?
Richard Nixon. Oh, God, I can't ever remember the full quote.
Oh, man.
You hate others, and they hate you, and you hate yourself. I can't remember the full Nixon quote.
Oh, boy.
It's the same thing. It's just not said by a giant rat.
Comparing me to Nixon.
Well, No, I'm comparing Splinter to Nixon.
Wow, that's probably a first.
The Splinter quote is essentially what Richard Nixon said, except that Richard Nixon was a real human being who lived and said words.
Are you saying Splinter's not real?
Well, I'm saying there could be a rat in the New York subsidy system that somebody has named Splinter.
Technically, he was a Japanese man who was turned into a rat.
That depends on if you believe the movie or the cartoon, and I don't know what the comic says on the issue.
Yeah, me neither.
I wish my dad taught me the arts of killing hand.
Because I know in the movie he's just a rat who, goes into the sewers and then gets transformed into a giant rat. In the cartoon, he's a man who gets transformed into a rat.
Well, it depends on which cartoon. Yeah. Rise of the TMNT is now full of mutated animals, so there's a whole hidden city.
Yeah, I liked the first CG one they did. I thought was kind of cool. I haven't seen it in a long time though, and I think they've since moved past that.
We all know the best Splinter was Mako. We all know that.
Of course.
Was he in the movies?
Yeah.
He was in the movies, right?
So I know the 80s cartoon, I know the movies, and then I know the one animated movie that did the 80s cartoon meets what was current at that time cartoon.
Who are you talking to?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not into that kind of stuff, but it did crack me up.
Yeah, the fourth wall break, because that's all they did in the 80s.
But
and
only he does it.
Yeah.
Because he's the 80s guy, and that's why, and it keeps annoying the villain. Who are you talking to?
Mm-hmm.
But then also in that one, the 80s black and white turtles show up, and they are not here give any shit.
You're right. Yeah,
it's the TNT and multiverse.
They're from the brutal original comic. Normally, I'm not into meta stuff like that, but to see them show up and just because one of my favorite lines is from that, and it's the line of but even freaks can bleed. Cut them. And then a couple panels later, after everyone's dead, there's Raphael saying the line, "Yes, we can bleed." It's just.
I mean, I think it's the best turtle movie.
I deliberately picked Anushka because I didn't want to be an edgelord.
Well, I mean, that's what they were back in the comics, apparently. So, back before they had a color to differentiate themselves.
Precise sense. Okay, cool. I was just checking the echolocation gift. Interesting wording. So, yeah. So when we left off, you guys were doing a stakeout in the middle of the night to try to discover what's going on with these thefts.
I mean, maybe we can at least chase them off. Trying to be stealthy about it. Now, I don't get stealth as that.
Are you trying to be stealthy about it? What is the benefit of you being stealthy?
Well, okay, I don't want to be seen. Like, if they steal stuff, they're not going to toss it over the edge of the boat if they see us waiting for someone to toss stuff over the edge of the boat.
Well, I mean, Orpha does have stealth, though, so she can do that.
Or they might show up behind us and just murder us.
That's what the keen ears are for. Hopefully you don't blow them out with your echolocation.
Well, I have that's one of the problems with me being on the stakeout. I can't, if I use echolocation when I'm on the stakeout, I reveal that I'm on the stakeout. That's why you want the night vision crew on the stakeout.
Well, yeah, see, I also have the 2 bats, because they're fruit bats, they get night vision, so they could also be out here, but they don't have stealth.
The only problem with them being out here is they don't have stealth. So in other words, if you just want us to obviously stake out the boats so they can't steal stuff and throw it overboard, we can do that.
Well, you're saying you don't have stealth either, right?
I have shitty stealth.
Oh, okay.
You would have the cover of darkness as well, and you are a fast character, which does help.
Well, no, when you're hiding, it's will.
Ah, yes.
But I'm an incredibly.
Then I'm a great hider.
Well, I threw out there the 3 that I can give you, and 2 of them don't have stealth but have night vision. One of them has stealth and only has keen ears.
Yeah, bring that guy out.
Orpha.
Yeah, bring Orville out. He can assist me.
Right, that's what I said. I offered you, and you decided to go stealth.
Send him out.
So, my question...
Is Orpha a male name or a female name?
Orpha, I mean, the A makes it sound feminine, but I don't know. It's up to you, I guess. But there's other things that I need to clarify here. So you're going to try to catch the thief on the boat in the act of tossing things overboard, which is what you assume they're doing.
Or at least eliminate the theory. Like, well in other words, if we think someone's coming out here on night and tossing stuff overboard, we're going to watch for that.
Okay. There's another wrinkle in this plan, which is that, and this might be my misconception about how ships work, but for the most part, if you're up on the main deck or even flying above the ship, you can see everything that's happening on the main deck, but I believe there's also portholes that are basically like mid-ship windows that people use to like dump stuff like sewage and stuff.
Depends on how big the boat is. Now, is this boat big enough that there are portholes?
I'm going to say yes. Yes, it is. Which means that there's... If someone wanted to chuck something through a porthole, you wouldn't necessarily have line of sight on them from above, from the deck.
Well, now this gets better because you have a crew that can hide underground. All right, there's a very simple solution to this, which is we need to have some people below decks watching the portholes and some people on deck seeing if they're dumping it overboard. And there's another simple solution to this, which is a hammer and a nail. We're going to nail the porthole shut.
I got 3 things. Two things. I have 2 things. 1, Orpha is a Hebrew name. So it's female. 2, I got 2 bats with night vision. Put one on one porthole on one side of the ship and one in the other portholes on the other side of the ship.
Well, we could try to watch the portholes from above the deck. That's another thing we could do. Or
right, but again, they're not going to be stealthy if they're above the deck. But if they're on the portholes, they just put their head in the porthole.
We're not very good at craft because they're suggesting we could booby trap the portholes, which would with alarms.
Are portholes in connected to rooms or hallways?
They would be on the edges of the ship, so they would be they're probably not in the cargo hold because that you don't want water in there, so they would be above the water line but below the deck. So there's probably it depends how big the ship is. Yeah, the ship would probably if this is a standard boat, most of the boats in Calabrese domain are the flute style, which is they have a small deck and then they bulge out like barrels at the side.
Gotcha.
This has several advantages. But so then there would probably be a deck above it, a hold below it, and probably a common room in the center with these narrow, disgustingly tiny hallways on the side, because if we're not a warship, we don't need cannons.
So you're a merchant ship. Would a merchant ship not have any cannons on them, or like some cannons for defense?
Do you want to carry 12 tons worth of saleable cargo or 12 tons worth of guns?
Right. Yeah. I guess if it's that kind of trade-off, then
right. So I'm guessing no.
It's also why you would hire an escort ship at some point.
Right, but we're also in controlled waters, so I'm guessing they don't.
And that's my other concern when I thought we were going to the Corsair Islands.
Right. So I'm guessing that, yeah. So in other words, there'd be a tiny crawl space you get into, also so that if that floods, it doesn't flood the whole cabin. So yeah, there might be a tiny crawl space you get into and open it. It'd be difficult to get into unless you're, I don't know, a rat or a shrew who already has fucking contortionist and stealth. Oh, and might actually be a master thief in the process. But I'm assuming we already searched like those areas, we didn't find them, so they must be dumping them out the portholes. So those would be difficult to watch. That's why I was suggesting we could nail the portholes shut, and that way when they try to open them tomorrow, they're in for a rude surprise. Or we could booby trap them, which would be basically to string cans or pots on them, so if they open them, they make a lot of noise.
I mean, if they're like stealthing around in complete discretion of their own, would they just have the opportunity to take apart said trap?
Well, they would have to have trap spotting skill, which they might have if they're mad. And the problem with booby trapping them is that we're not trap makers. No one in the party has sabotage or craft.
Right. But I just mean the trap you described, which hanging a bunch of loud materials across them with string, would only operate if they open them, right? So if you just looked at that, you would see the string with shit hanging off of it.
I mean, any trap can be defeated, yes. I mean, that's why I'm saying the problem I have with trapping it is that we're not good at that. We could just nail it shut, and that would just frustrate.
I think you've pretty adequately described the kind of trap that our skill set would actually make.
Yeah, right.
A shitty-ass
We could
hanging
make
loud
this
trap.
Yeah.
Well, we could try that. The only worry they might have...
I'm also indicating I think it's useless. I don't think that would work for anything.
Okay, then do you want to nail them shut or just watch them?
I mean, if you want to nail a bunch of them shut but leave one open on the other side, just put my bat boys there to watch out.
You know, that's the best idea. Nail some of them shut but leave the ones that we can actually spot open. Let's do that. The real trick is we want to do that without the guys, without them seeing us, because if the thief sees us do this, they'll know not to, something's up. But, okay, so let's try to sneak around and nail those shut. Nailing stuff done sneakily would be either craft and stealth or craft and deceit.
Orpha's not a good liar.
Right. Potter has some craft. I have some deceit. You have like a little bit of deceit. None of us are good at building stuff. It's really not our forte.
I think it would be me, because I actually have some deceit and I'm fast. So, in other words, if we would have a distraction, I could go around and try to nail them shut. And this, I mean, this might not even be a roll we need to make. This is one of those rolls that I make because it's kind of like, if I can just get one success on this, I can do it. It's one of those things that comfort me in the game of I bought these skills so I could actually do this.
I mean, arguably, we'd want the least amount of people involved in this role as possible, because the more people involved, the more obvious it is.
I'll just sneak around and nail all of them shut.
Yeah, so I would like you to make a roll, because not to give too much away, but yeah, there could be consequences.
I have a knack for deceit.
Oh, good. That's great. That's what you get. That is what you get.
Hey, I'm not out of shit yet.
Okay.
I may have it's like bang, bang. No, I can do this. Bang, bang. Force yourself to smile. This is the right thing to do. I'm gonna force. Nope. Not gonna let this get to me.
So when does your luck refresh?
Oh no!
My luck has recharged, but I'm not wasting it on nailing portal shots.
Are you sure?
You sure?
You don't want Orpha to go in there and find you've nailed yourself to the deck or something.
Hold on, that's a 1. And my favorite use of deceit is when distracting people, which is what I'm doing. Yes.
Wait, are you distracting people right now?
I'm not lying to people or playing them false. I'm trying to run around and nail these shut. Oh, you mean nailing these shut without people seeing? Yeah, no, I failed. Fuck it.
I think it's a fail. Yeah.
Fuck you.
I'll still give.
You could have Potter assisting you for a D8 for a whole D8.
We didn't want anybody assisting you, so we didn't want to draw attention. So in other words, I run around trying to nail them shut and fail. So when they come back tomorrow, tonight, maybe we'll see them. Maybe they're not even doing that.
Yes. So basically what happens is in the morning you hear multiple people complaining about the ruckus that you made, but we're not there just yet. If you guys also want to give me an observation for anyone who was sort of keeping lookout during this whole escapade, I could take mind and observation. It would be spot. It would be a site-based one, and so unless you have echolocation, which would be active, or night vision, I think it would have to be one of those two to make this check. Does anyone have those? I mean, I know you had echolocation, Anushka, but you were occupied.
If you use echolocation, you reveal yourself to anyone with keen ears. Rats and shrews have keen ears.
Right.
So the problem I have with that is that if you're on a lookout with echolocation, they know you're there.
Right. So then it would, if you guys want to keep this hush hush and stealth, then the only option you have at that point, I guess, would be someone with night vision. Connor he's a raccoon. He has night vision. Although
Connor is a raccoon.
Oh, but he's typing. I'm sure in your huge posse, a gang of irregulars, somebody's got to have night vision as well.
They're all horses.
And I think Theta already gave his contribution of 2 bats, wasn't it?
Yeah, watching for the...
Yeah.
Getcha.
Sorry, that's the best I can do.
That's the best you can do. Okay, yeah. The stakeout is not a success. As the dawn breaks...
I'll throw my personality on this just to see if maybe I can swat somebody.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw my valuables overboard.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah, that's only one success.
It's one success, but I'll give you something for it.
Yeah, you didn't see him.
I mean, the thing I do is I just don't travel with valuables.
Right?
That's
okay.
a good idea.
One success. So, as the night's going on, you're strolling around on the ship, trying to look inconspicuous, Connor, but trying to catch sight of any shifty or suspicious activity. It is dark up here, but your eyes are naturally attuned to the darkness, and you see that, sure enough, you can see several smaller vessels. They look like the shoreline is visible in the distance beyond them, but you can make out these smaller ships, and although none of them is approaching your vessel, not in any way that looks like they're trying to intercept, you think you can see that one of them has dropped anchor, and is close enough that you could conceive that an exceptionally strong swimmer could make the journey between where this boat is parked and where your boat is passing. If they set the right intercept course. So that much catches your eye, and you feel like you see what looks like, as you peer off, you think you can see someone climbing back onto the deck of that ship. Someone has gone for a night swim. But...
That's weird.
Yes, nothing else. You didn't see any activity. You didn't hear anyone throwing anything overboard that night. And in the morning, no one declares that anything else has been stolen.
All right. Well, I was going to report about that boat that was anchored across our path to Anushka, because she seems to be taking the lead on this.
I have a quick question.
What's up?
Have we gotten any goal to just figure out where the stolen shit's going?
No, we're just passing time.
Cool,
basically.
putting my feet up for the rest of the journey.
But there'll be a sad rabbit if we don't.
I don't give a shit.
Got a sad rabbit. You got an angry horse.
To me, right now, this is just a mystery. I'm not incentivized to figure this out. And you know what? I'm not particularly harmed by not figuring it out.
Yep.
Well, would you like a goal? I can offer this one if you'd like. The goal would be to, let's say, I'm not going to make it an easy goal, discover the uncover the mystery. It will be like a catch the criminal or recover the goods or something like that.
Well, which one? Those are two specifically different things.
Let's say catch the criminal, because recovering the goods might take a lot longer at this point.
Now, that's the exact wording of the goal, right? Catch the criminal?
Yes. Catch the boat thief.
Oh, okay. No. Now it's catch the boat thief.
Yeah, well, you're making me nervous and self-conscious.
I could catch any of my criminals, and I would get the call.
Catch the thief responsible for stealing Amelie's sword there. How about that? That very specific thief that stole that thing that your guys can't go and steal now because it's already been stolen.
Right.
You think?
I suppose, given what we've done so far, I suppose I'll go talk to maybe Abel and just try to maybe extend an interest in what he's doing. Like, I'm an intellectual academic, I'm interested in this stuff, and the last set of map makers I met were all charlatans who knew nothing. I'd love to learn from someone who actually knows what they're talking about.
Okay, Abel strikes you as a very mild-mannered gentleman who takes great pride in his work and is very protective of his secrets, but you seem to disarm him with your general aura of holy energy. And yes, he's willing to discuss. In fact, if you engage him in conversation during a meal, he'll open up to you a little bit and tell you a little bit about like his craft and his trade, and even describe some of the cool, tools that he uses. He commissioned multiple gadgets and widgets from the Dunwasser Academy, including, sextants and plumb bobs and all kinds of other goofy shit.
So that's what
it's fascinating. I'd love to see some of the tools of the trade sometime.
He says, yes, well, I could show you if you'd like, but I don't fully trust anyone, especially given the rash of thefts that have happened. These tools are my livelihood, but if you would like to, perhaps tonight, when the crew has settled down, I could show you some.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Yes, it'll be a fun evening for the two of us.
All right. He blushes when you say that, and seems pleased. And at night, he'll, if you're around, he'll approach you and say, "Hey, come to my quarters if you're still interested. I could show you these things." And if you follow him there, he will show you. He does have this elaborate chest, and he cracks it open. And inside, you can see there's a number of incredible, intricate widgets that seem to be of the highest craft and manufacture. Many of them bear maker's marks of smiths from Triskellion. And it seems like his story checks out.
Ah, yes. His story checks out. He has genuine stuff here. His chest isn't full of stolen loot because I'm in the room now and he's showing it all off.
Yeah, maybe he sat the stolen loot under the bed. I don't know.
And as an academic with 2d12 in academics, I can tell he clearly does actually know what he's talking about. He's not some sort of sham or charlatan or secret thief necessarily.
He opened the chest to show you?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I think given that seems like there's nothing here, we just have a good time talking, being in good spirits, having a couple of drink, and just talking for the night, basically. I'm nocturnal, he might be, I can't remember if the deer were. We're just having a good time.
So you know what? I feel suddenly very invested in finding this stuff. I'm gonna gather my guys, me and all 11 of us, and we're gonna march on down to Emil's room.
Amelie?
Amelie, sorry, I had the letters right, just not the pronunciation.
Yep. All right, you're marching down. Amelie, again, she's the horse soldier who has been very stoic. The door to her quarters is closed. Are you going to knock?
Yeah.
Okay. Inside, you hear her bark out, "Go away."
Can't do that. Sorry, we've investigated every other room. This one needs to be checked.
A moment later, the door is thrown open. You can see her in her night attire, and she says, "I'm trying to meditate. What is it that you want? You want to burst in here and steal the rest of my valuables?"
Well, I will tell you this. My first thought was to have my boys go in and just, run the place down number by number. But seeing you now in such lovely attire, I was wondering maybe if you would like to go get a drink first.
Damn. Okay. Go ahead. If you want to roll for seduction, you're going to have to roll for it, because she's not falling for that without a... She's rolling D8. So there's a
what
chance.
is the roll for seduction? What
skill
crap. Is that?
Okay.
Negotiation?
Gossip? Well, seduction is a gift, right? So you would get a D12.
Yeah, but what's the tie to skill?
Right. I'm thinking...
It's not deceit, I can tell you that. I'm down for it.
Okay.
I'm imagining a tight-toned soldier. Top of her craft.
So I guess I could see negotiation. I feel like inquiry is a skill that gets short thrift. It is used in situations.
Or anything.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like your naturalist skill, but...
Well, wait, what are you doing here if you're not asking her anything?
Right now I'm seducing her.
Oh, yeah, seducing somebody is negotiation.
Negotiation.
But you won't get any information out of it, you're just seducing her.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to seduce her into having a drink with me and then maybe a little fun later, while my boys will then go to town while we're gone.
He wants to negotiate her out of the room and then have everyone toss the room while she's gone.
Okay. So go ahead, make a...
So many dirty remarks flowing through my head right now.
It's going to be will negotiation, and you'll get your bonus for seduction. I'm trying to think of anything else that you have that might apply.
Fast talk?
Yeah, I mean, you are kind of ambushing her with this conversation in the middle of the night. It seems weird, but I'm sure people have used that trick in pickup artists have used similar tricks, so sure, why not?
I mean, I'm also down for diplomacy. If we can make this a long-term thing, I'm down for it.
Well, within the confines of this one conversation, I don't think diplomacy would apply.
The problem is that diplomacy figures things are going to go all right, and this could actually turn into a long term. Got to fast talk your way to diplomacy.
Right, there you go.
All right, well,
she's
I got
rolling
my
2d8s.
dice ready, so if you want to roll yours, we'll just see.
7!
Wow,
The
nice.
one to beat, not bad.
I got a 9.
Ah, 9. Well done.
That's from the seduction, by the way. I rolled seduction and then fast talk.
Beautiful. Okay. So yeah, as you're making your approach, she seems at first angry and then outraged and then kind of startled and taken aback, even at the suggestion of any kind of flirtation from you. He seems disarmed by it, something that she's not used to receiving sort of interest from men, especially not rich men in the middle of the night on a sea voyage, and it catches her off guard. And so she will...
I have to say, Amelie, ever since I was young, I've grown up in the presence of nobility. So when I say something is beautiful and pretty, it has to mean something special to me because I have been grown to see the best in life. And I must tell you, my lady, kiss his hand, you are extravagant. Could I possibly get a drink with you?
Oh, right, that was beautiful. Chef's kiss. Mwah. So she's really not sure what to make of you, but she suddenly becomes very self-conscious, and she says, well, I was planning to get a drink, actually, before turning in for bed, so I don't see why you could not accompany me, if you'll just give me a minute to get on some proper attire. And then she slams the door maybe a little bit too hard, and then a moment later you hear some rustling, and she comes back out, and she's dressed formally again, not in like armor, but certainly like dressed appropriate to the stature of a soldier in the army. And she will close the door behind her. Do these doors have locks? I don't know if they would, right? They're the property of the ship captain.
Locks are usually expensive. Usually this time period you bar the door.
Yeah, but you wouldn't like...
A wooden bar is a lot easier to do, and usually you bar it from the inside when you're in.
Well, of course. Right, yeah, so it's not like you actually have any sort of safety for items that are left in your room. I guess you just carry the important stuff with you. So you know what she's going to bring? she has one parcel. It looks like it's wrapped in some sort of waterproof, like oil skin type thing, and it's a box. It's about the size of like a shoebox. And in fact, you realize that you've never seen her on the ship without this parcel tucked under her arm. She has it with her now, and she says, "All right, we can after you, right? And you guys can go to the dining hold." Meanwhile,
I want to kind of give Winter a look that I've probably given Winter this kind of look before, so and I'm not trying to pull one of those. I'm gonna give him a look that says, I probably just want to say I've given him a look before.
Check under the bed.
Yeah, no, keep it clean.
Gotcha.
A look that says keep it clean because I've probably given him silent stares before to clean up a mess. And I want to, she was pretty beautiful, and I don't want to screw her over here. Well, I do and I don't, you know what I'm saying. But I don't want to leave her room an obvious ransacked mess.
Of course.
So they're going to, pile in to search, and I've given Winter the silent command to clean it up.
There you go. Yeah, make it leave no trace, and Winter picks up on your command. Normally I would ask for a search check here, but the reality is that Amelie actually travels with very, very... So it's very simple to find everything that she could be hiding in her room, shy of like hidden compartments under the floorboards or something. It's basically just like a stack of parcels. All of them are wrapped similarly to this, and it looks like she's traveling with like a shield that looks like it's a family shield, and then some like bags with some clothes in them, and then like she has she'd probably have her purse with her money on her, again because you want to keep your valuables on you. But yeah, she's really traveling fairly light, and there's nothing else in the room.
Got it. I was gonna say a bunch of my guys actually have like double dice in searching, so. But
I mean, if you like to roll and
if you're saying if you're officially saying there's nothing there, then there's no point in rolling
I
for
feel
a no
bad.
result.
I don't want to rob people of their dice rolls, but in a case like this,
I just mean that in that instance, it means that they have multiple dice for rotes. So
exactly, they would just rote for it and find nothing. Check the loose floorboards as well. It's a very thorough search. And really turns up nothing of any importance.
Yeah, so the doc and I both investigated rooms that were previously shut off to us, and both of us have had an excellent time.
Yeah.
The only person left under suspicion now might be the cook.
Or the captain. I'm sure we haven't investigated the captain's cabin.
No. That's one thing that none of you guys have been alone in the captain's cabin. And the cook has his own quarters as well, Toulouse.
Well, that's two more targets, and we got 2 players left.
Yeah.
So which one of you is going to seduce the cook, and which one of you is going to...
You don't have to seduce the cook. You have to wait until the cook is at their job, and then you search their quarters.
Sure, you don't want to have fun.
I don't know. How's the cook look?
Cook looks good. He's the only one who seems to have been in bright spirits since he's had his purse returned to him, the purse that the bear stole, born again Spongy. But since then, he seems cheery. He says,
how does he rank on a scale of 1 to 10?
What's his body die size?
What's his age, sex, location? He's
I still say that?
No one still says that. I'm sorry. That's dating myself.
Feel old. But also, I'm thinking, I could do better.
ICQ digits.
Probably do better.
Yeah, it'd be easier I actually have searching. It would be easier for me to... And when I say, I say toss, but I wouldn't actually have to toss. I could just look around in the room. I'm pretty sure he's not a suspect. I could just do it when he's busy.
You could.
I have low profile and searching.
Perfect, yeah. And he spends a lot of his time with the cooks, either trying to help out or talking their ear off, like the official cooks of the crew.
I'll just sneak into his room to eliminate him as a suspect. I'll do that real quick.
Conceivably, I could have asked for a nice meal for me and the horse lady.
Why don't
the mayor
do that as a distraction and give me a bonus?
Distracting 2 people at once. Perfect.
Dovetailing plots. I like it.
I like this. Distracting 2 people at once, and I got a big meal out of it.
Well, I'm hoping for more than a big meal. What's up?
Hey. What's up? God damn it. Okay. Let's see. All right. So when you go through Toulouse's belongings, you can see that he's got a number of what you would expect. He's got clothes. He's got some cooking supplies that he's bringing for this new tavern that his family is opening. There's some letters of correspondence to various people. As you poke through the letters, you can see that there are. You find a letter that appears to be. It's just one short scrawled sentence which stands out to you because it's interesting, and it just says. It says everyone is ready, and it gives like a time, a date, which was like 2 days before the day that your ship chartered out. Ready by this date, 2 days before you guys set off on your voyage. But other than that, like, that doesn't give you a whole lot to go on. And other than that, there's no... I mean, you don't find the stolen goods. I can tell you that much. Among his belongings. He's got more than Amelie does, but it's all stuff that you'd expect a traveler to have. I'll say with one exception. He does have a bunch of... like, I told you that Amelie had these, like, waterproofed wrappings. They're kind of like oil skin or something like that. He seems to have a stack of this oil paper, basically, like you would use to waterproof a package. And it looks like he's got enough to waterproof several packages, just kind of like stacked underneath the little desk that he's got set up.
Am I muted? Wait, are you waiting for me?
I guess so. I mean, you're the one who searched.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
These were your results.
I was waiting for you to ask me to make the roll. Sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I've been kind of doing... Because there's no real time pressure in this case.
The meal being prepared, like I said. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and... I just want to sneak in and do this real quick.
Yep. So I told you. You found some letters, some correspondence, some cooking tools, some chef's tools.
Was me. Okay. All right.
That was you, yep.
Sorry, I missed when we bridged from him to me. Okay, so but they didn't find the stolen item.
Didn't find any of the stolen goods. No.
Okay, well that's it. I'm done then. I mean, there's no smoking gun here, so
yeah, nothing that you could point to and say like, "Look, thief."
Yeah, I'll leave everything. I mean, I made at least one success. I leave everything as I found it, and just was like, okay, Cook's not a suspect.
All right, time for Connor to seduce the captain.
Oh joy!
Okay. Oh my!
Brought a bouquet of barnacles.
Ugh. The finest seaweeds, arranged appropriately. The captain, I will say, is interested to speak with you, Connor. He regards you as a minor celebrity. News of your deeds have reached across the Avoirdupois nation, and so, you know, here you're among friends. This is evening time, because everyone else is doing evening time stuff.
Right.
But the captain doesn't really leave his chambers unless it is to oversee some deckhand work or to occasionally step out and pilot the ship.
All right. Yeah, Connor's going to keep the conversation mostly to, like, you know, here's what it's like leading men in a land-based battle. I do know a little bit about sailing, but how exactly do you do the same thing while your landscape never changes?
Oh, well, luckily I have not manned an armed ship in quite some time, but I used to serve as a hand on a merchant class, or a ship with guns on it. My nautical terms fail me. And he said that, you know...
AKA a gunship.
A gunship, sure. Yeah, sure. So, he will avail you of the various, like, positioning tactics involved in ship-to-ship combat. But he says that luckily in his occupation, he does not have to worry too much, that the trade routes that he uses are fairly well guarded. But he does have a fear every so often that he's going to turn around and see that he's being pursued by a pirate vessel. This is something that you realize might be tied in with his fears of the large sums of money that he owes, that perhaps it's not the first time in his life that he's had to loan sharks or the like. Literal or figurative.
Interesting, but like none of my this is out of character. None of my irregulars are really fit for skullduggery, and neither is Connor really. So he's just mostly. I have absolutely no good observation skills. So this is basically just eyeball mark one. See what happens.
I'll be honest with you. That's why I really try and spread out what my guys are good at. My regular gang. I was actually looking at maybe getting a functionary when I decided on my 2 bodyguards, because it's like, oh, having somebody who's good at bribery would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes more sense for Adris, because Adris is specifically putting together a gang, like an actual, they're supposed to, execute operations. They should be multi-talented. I feel like Connor has expressed that he's just trying to attract, able-bodied men-at-arms soldiers who tend to be a lot more uniform in their abilities.
Look, all I'm saying is that we are on sort of an ocean, right? And I've got 11 guys with me. I'm not saying anything else. I'm just saying that we're on an ocean and I have 11 guys.